Thanks for coming out and watching the oxymoronic Reddit Professional Show, where I showcase the best and worst of the internet. Here I comment on brilliant and hilarious comment chains regarding dumb shit on the internet for you to enjoy. Make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell button so that you get notifications every time we come up with a new video. Enjoy this week's show.
Always shop your trade. Carmax came in $2,500 higher than Carvana. I recently sold my car to Carmax. Carvana offered $7,500, the dealer offered $8,000. Carmax would not give me an appraisal unless I went to a store, so I wasn't going to bother, but after a meeting was cancelled I decided to go over to the local store. I was hoping for $8,500, as KBB Trade said $9K. To my shock they came in at $10,000. This was for a 2017 Sonata SE with about 60K miles. Clean car, but had an accident in the history report from a minor fender bender, which seemed to be a big deal for Carvana but not Carmax. YMMV. YMMV. Absolutely. I recently sold a car to Carvana and had the opposite experience. They offered significantly more than Carmax. I was actually planning on selling the car privately, but the Carvana offer was so high it made sense just to sell it to them. I think it depends quite a bit on the vehicle. Specific to my case, Carvana subtracted quite a bit due to the accident. I would guess the newer, more popular the vehicle, the more likely Carvana is to beat Carmax. Pretty sure Carvana does not sell accident cars on their site, so they won't give you any kind of decent offer for a car with accident history. They sell those cars in their other store, Drive Time. Interesting. Sucks for me though, cause they offered like $6,000 less the day after my Volt got its bumper scraped by someone backing into me. Was like, great, now I can't get any kind of a decent trade value now. I was actually planning on selling the car privately, but the Carvana offer was so high it made sense just to sell it to them. A coworker did that recently. They had been trying to sell a car locally. They had it listed on CL and Facebook for $12,000 and would take $10,000 for it. It was from an estate, so they just wanted it gone. I sold a car to Carvana and mentioned it to them. They looked it up, and Carvana offered them $12,000 for it. Used car prices are insane right now. You can say that again. I sold my 14 Civic as it was no longer needed as the spare/beater car. I considered Carmax my usual go-to. They offered $9,000. Carvana? They offered me $12,600. Carvana gave me that extra as market adjustment. I checked deeper for other cars, and it seemed like compact cars, not crossovers/SUVs, from the 2010s are in incredibly high demand, since Carvana's just handing out bonuses to all of them. So, again, do your research. Used market is insane right now. It may not be worth the time to sell privately right now, due to the weird world we live in. Holy cow. I just ran a quick Carvana offer on my 2013 Fit, $9K. I bought the thing for $10K 3 years ago and have put 50K miles on it. I plan on running it into the ground, but hey, I'm not going to complain that it's held that much value. Yep. I was in your spot 2 months ago. Carvana's absurdly high trade-in value for my Civic pushed me to just go through and sell it, since I didn't need that car, since it was hardly driven in my household as it was due to the pandemic/etc. So, I just traded it in. Super easy process too. The offer was just too good to pass up. You'd have to sell privately to get these prices pre-pandemic. The only question is if the added market value to compact cars like ours will hold post-pandemic. With the used car market being really hot right now, it's putting all the dealers against each other to get the same vehicle. Good on you for using that to your advantage. Yes, the used car market is really hot. GF just bought a loaded 3-year-old Tacoma for more than a base 2020 brand new. It was still $8,000 cheaper than a new one of that trim package, but I was really surprised at what some of these used trucks were going for. The average age of a car on the road right now is about 12 years old. 20 years ago it was 6 years old. When they did that cash for clunkers deal, cars were almost 9 years old. I still see 93/94 trucks on FB Marketplace for $3,000. I once had a 2015 Corolla Sport with 37K mics on it for sale. It was in 2017. I was asking $10,000 for it on Facebook and other third-party sites. It was in mint condition minus one fender dent where I tapped a mailbox, easy fix. I had 4 people come test drive it, all lowballed me, most wanted to give me as little as $7,000. Then a Honda dealer called me and said, sold, well buy it for $10 grand, no questions asked. So I drove it 40 minutes to them, they bought it right there and handled the payoff for me, still owed $7,400. They even gave me a ride home. I later got the $2,600 difference in the mail as a check. It cashed and cleared. Zero fuss sale, easy. They resold it in a week for $14,000. Quick flip. I laugh cause people had a chance to buy it for $10 grand, but nah, it ended up at a dealer as a one-owner pre-certified car with active warranty. We just sold my husband's 2007 F-150. We were asking $6,000 for it because it has some hail damage and needs new ignition coils. We had one guy offer $3,000 for it because he had to drive in from another state to get it. Had another guy send a stupid low offer and my husband responded with a laughing gif from the office. To be fair, screw the spark plugs on that year and OEM coil packs are like $50 a piece. $3K is low but $6K is high, especially if the spark plugs have never been changed, and real possibility they haven't as it's a only if necessary part for most people. People like my mother are why they try hard to get it for $7K, because it sometimes works. I decided to sell my car before I moved to Georgia. It was worth a minimum of $4K. I put it up for $3K. Nearly every person who came to see it offered less than $2K, minus the person I sold it to for what I asked. But the problem was that I live 20 miles outside of town, and Omaha people are weirdly adverse to driving further than 5 miles for anything despite being in a middle of nowhere state. My mom volunteered to let it sit at her house and to show it off to potential buyers on weekdays, because she lived right in the middle of Omaha. I got calls every day from her, begging me to please take this $1,500 offer or this $1,800 offer because they have the money right now, and you don't know if you'll get what you want. For people like her, getting a sale done is the most valuable part of the sale. If your state offers a sales tax credit when trading in a car, you may still be better off trading into the dealer for less. My state, Missouri, gives you the credit if you sell your car and buy a new one in 2 separate transactions within 90 days, so you can sell to Carvana and buy from a dealer and get the credit. Did that last year when I got a new car. Other states require the car to be traded into the dealer you're buying from to get the credit. Just check local state laws, whip out a calculator or Excel sheet, and see what ends up being cheaper. Yup, this is basically true with the reverse of buying a car. What I did was get quotes from all dealers within 50 miles of me and I used their quote to actually price match LOL. It's crazy how that literally saved me $3,000. For those who have Costco membership to buy a car through, 100,000% use this. Literally all you do is go through Costco's website to see which specific dealers near you are tied with Costco and show them your Costco card for the discount. It's really that much of a joke. I went to a dealership before I knew about this, came back through the Costco program at that same dealership and they gave $2,000 off. I was baffled. Just be aware that this might not be the best discount compared to other deals, so definitely get quotes from all around you. To add my experience, I got a much lower price than the Costco negotiated price from my dealer. It isn't a discount per SE, it's just a negotiated price, and as I said, this isn't the lowest rock bottom price. The only thing worth it to us is the GM event that usually happens around the holiday. You get a $250 Costco gift card as a Gold Star member, but $750 as an executive member. Carmax was awesome to work with. They offered me $6,000 for my car, $3,500 more than Carvana and only about $1,000 less than what I was trying to sell it for to a private buyer. Plus they gave me a week to shop at other places before the offer expired. Always shop it around, but I feel like the convenience of their process was worth at least $1,000. I didn't have to call anyone about loan payoffs or anything and got my money direct deposited that same week. Pro tip, go close to closing time to get your quote, after dark if possible. They won't be inspecting as closely and are more likely to miss small things that might make your value take a hit. My wife's hybrid Civic had the AC die. We live where no AC is not an option if you don't want to look like you went swimming when exiting your car. Called 5 shops, quotes to fix a hybrid AC are all north of $3K, car's KBB top end value is $5,000K. Apparently they have special condensers. I priced out used ones myself and couldn't find any less than $1,500 anywhere, and that's prior to labor. Driving it home from a shop that had given me bad news again, I decide to just see what Carmax would give me for it in its condition. It's noon, 90 degrees out, I walk in and just ask to price it out. They ask 50 questions about the car, not one about the AC specifically. I don't mention it freely, figure they'll find it when they go drive the boiler tank. They take it for a drive, do their inspections, and come back. Offer $5,000. I sold the car on the spot without even calling my wife. Not a fucking clue if they knew or not, my assumption is that they missed it. The blower still blew, it just never got cold. YMMV. It is important to understand this. Absolutely shop around for your trade, and don't let the dealer bundle the trade value and the price of the car you're purchasing because it becomes a shell game. But make sure you understand the implications of selling your car separately versus trading it in. For example, in the state of Georgia, you get a credit against the title tax, essentially, sales tax, of the car you're purchasing based on the value of your trade. This can be worth a couple $1,000s depending on the value of the vehicles involved. You do not get this credit if you sell your car separately and then go buy a car somewhere else. This is highly state dependent, but you should make sure you understand every little moving piece of the purchase/trade process in your state. I have actually never traded a car in, and I'm 45 years old and bought my first car in October of 1992. Probably been the owner/driver of 20 different cars for me, then me and my wife, and now me, my wife, and our daughter, over that time. Never once traded. I just assumed that the trade-in value of my cars would have been far less than selling outright to someone. In fairness, one old car finally died after being hit by another driver, and 3 of them, I'm still the owner. The hassle of selling to an individual is not something I'd like to deal with again, but selling to a buyer like Carmax or Carvana is interesting to me. I do like to keep a car between 7 to 8 years, because I always buy them lightly used, brands that don't require a lot of upkeep, aside from my affinity for BMW since 2011, and do the maintenance myself. But I'm getting older, and less patient for all the ins and outs of doing what should be pretty basic maintenance. No plans to buy anything else for the next 3 to 4 years, until I get the oldest kid out of college. I have bad luck selling privately. First guy begged and pleaded to use my tags to drive 500 miles to another state. I refused, and he ended up crashing on the way home. Second car was a beater that I sold to my neighbor. In less than 2 weeks, he flipped the car on its roof, without ever putting tags on the car. Naturally, the crash police report ended up on my doorstep. I'm glad I saved the bill of sale that was handwritten on a napkin. I've been selling my cars to Carmax ever since.
If you enjoyed this week's effective way to waste time, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you are enjoying the series, leave me a comment below. A special shout out to the content creators. You frickin' rock.